major thing that we have to do is put on propellers. So let's go ahead and open these out, and I hope you bought a lot of these, because you will be breaking them. Okay, so in this bag, there actually comes two of each kind of each way. So this one, which will go on motor 1 and motor 3, spins this way, and as you can see, it's how it's curved, such that if it spins this way, it provides lift. And then this one is curved the opposite way, so when it spins counterclockwise, it provides lift. And then this one will be used for motors 2 and 4. So just taking a look at the difference there. So this one goes here and that one goes there. So let's go ahead and pull off these top parts. There we go. And push it all the way down. Okay, let's make sure we get the right one. So we want this one, there we go, to be the same as number 1. And then this is the last one, but just to show you what it looks like. And go ahead and push it in. Okay, and now we can go ahead and put on these bolts. And you can hand twist them for a little while, and then after that you'll want to use a tool to tighten them all the way down. I really like having a little wrench always with me, makes it really easy. You could use pliers, but I recommend getting a little wrench. And so they all, providing you got 4 that are threaded the same way, they all tighten the same way. And this is going to go all the way around. Because they do sell motors that are threaded the opposite ways. That way you can get kind of self-tightening ones that won't get loose when they nick something, but I've never bothered with them. Sounds too confusing. Constantly. It's not too confusing. Okay. I want to go until it cinches down. And since these motors can handle thicker props as well, it's really a lot of twisting. But you don't need to worry about those nuts popping off. They might come loose, but they're not going to pop off. On the motor number 3. Okay, twisting on. There we go. Nice and tight. This one's actually a little bit tougher. Twist that on. Make sure it gets really cinched down there. There we go. So one thing I realized taking a look at the build is this battery lead, when it's plugged in, it should have plenty of clearance, or it does have clearance from the props, but if it gets a little bit loose, the props are going to start hitting that battery lead, which is not good. So just to be extra sure, we're going to add a zip tie just down at the bottom below the VTX in the same hole. We can pull out the battery so I can show you. So here, in this hole here, we're going to stick a zip tie through from the top, and we're going to go behind right through there, behind the wires. So we don't want those little wires in the zip tie. And now, oops, don't want to lose. Okay. So we want this up right in there in that crack. And we want the red to be on top of the black wire. Now we're going to go ahead and tighten this up. Probably should have removed the props, but then I wouldn't have been able to check how close I was. There we go. And we don't need to cinch it down crazy tight. But now we have plenty of clearance there, and we don't need to worry about it loosening up. There we go. Just to show what that looked like. Okay, so now comes the scary part of any build, actually plugging it in. And so I have my battery strapped in, and I don't, maybe you should take off the props. It's probably safe to have the props on, since nothing's going to trigger them to start up. But the thing is, if we plug it in and there's a short, we'll get a fire and blow out some part. So it's best, not required, to test for shorts before flying, or before plugging in the battery. So my multimeter has one setting, will get the voltage, but it has another setting which will check if there's current. So if I touch these two together, you can hear that there's current flowing through it. So on our power distribution board, if we touch a positive and positive together, you can hear that there is free current flowing through. But if we touch a positive or a negative to a positive, we get no sound, which is good, no short in the power distribution board. And that's connected to the battery lead, so we should be good to plug in. So let's move the multimeter out of the way. And let's go ahead and plug in the quad. So you can hear the ESCs starting up. You can see just a little bit of lights there from both the power distribution board and a little green light from the flight controller. And you might be wondering, what about our LEDs? Fear not. Just with all the dip switches down, that's what it is off. So if we turn this first one on, we get blue. Turn the second one on, we get red. Turn this third one on, we get green. And then we can do combinations. So blue and green makes whatever that color is. Blue and blue in the middle one gets a purple. And then these two on the end, red. And the green makes a yellow. And then we put them all on, and we get white. So let's go ahead and put it on a blue, and we can go ahead and check these ones down here as well. Blue, yay! Blue, yay! And now we got a nice bright quad that'll be seen so people don't knock you out of the air. Or they know they can purposely knock you out of the air. Either one there. So there we go, no magic smoke, which is a very good sign. One thing that we have to do is adjust the camera lens, because right now it's not focused correctly. So the first thing to go ahead and do that is we got to take off this top plate. And I know you're like, we just put that on. That's okay. It's easy to take off, and especially with we have plugs so that we could take it off completely, but for this small change we probably have left long enough wires that just taking off these 6 screws will be sufficient, and we don't even need to unplug anything to make this small adjustment. So the screen that I have right here is just my Android phone, and I've hooked it up to my goggles so you can see the output of what I would normally see on the goggles. I wrote a blog post on how to do that, but that's for a separate topic. For yourself, you can just pretend like that screen is what you're seeing in your goggles if you were to put them on. So there we go, we have the top plate off. So first, let's go ahead and plug in our battery so we can see our current state. And so the first thing notice is there's a bunch of static here. It's hard to see, and when you plug in you might not see anything. It might have looked like the same static that it was before, depending on which channel you're on. So right now, since there's a lot of static and we're so close, we must be on the wrong channel. So the channel we want to be on is band A, channel 1. That's the default for our video transmitter. And that is 5865. So let's go ahead and flip channels until we get to that correct channel. So you'll notice it went completely static because that channel was farther away. So I'm moving getting to the correct channel, and there you go. So this looks like a clear picture-ish, but it's really, really blurry. So our connection's good, we're on the right channel, but we now need to adjust this camera lens. So let's go ahead, and to do that, we'll need to adjust the little kind of rigidy, twisty thing, such that when we screw in this lens, it'll actually go onto that next set of rivets. And so we should just be able to twist on the lens, getting tighter, and as we get tighter, the picture will be getting clearer. So a little bit better. So let's just keep going. Oh, and there we go, and that's really good right there. But just to show you, if you keep on going even farther, it'll get out of focus again. So let's go ahead and twist that into focus. And then you can actually use this to tighten it, the little ring with rigid ring, you can actually use that to tighten your lens into place, so it won't come out of focus while you're flying. And there we go. We have the camera lens adjusted. And once you put on those 6 screws, the build, you shouldn't have to take apart the build anymore.